Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back down under the mat. It is 2025 and we're here for a brand new year of everything professional wrestling. Dan, how's your new year been?
It's been pretty good so far. We're only a few days in. So, look, 2025 is way better than 2024 was.
Yeah, so far so good.
4 days in. No, I've had a good break. You and I, we hung out after Christmas. We went up to Sydney, went and watched PWA.
Mounties Mania.
Yeah, Mounties Mania. I was going to say Mayhem at the Mounties, but I think it was Mounties Mania was better.
Mayhem at the Mounties sounds pretty good.
It's where Reece finally got on board and bought himself a TMDK shirt.
TMDK shirt. The mighty don't kneel.
They don't. And our boy, Robbie Eagles, actually at some point in a few hours, based on where we are now, where we're recording, the Ichiban Sweet Boys will be in a tag team match over in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So good luck, Robbie Eagles.
Good luck, Robbie. Bring the titles home. Yeah.
That soul of PWA Championship looks great around you. And I mean, it looks pretty cool with us in the photo because Editor Luke's going to chuck that picture in there for us. Speaking of New Year's and Christmas, out of my absolute heart of gold and my want to give happiness to all, I bought Reece a Christmas present. And whilst I was out at the shops getting some presents for some nephews and cousins and things, I saw something. I was like, you know what? I can't not buy this for Reece. I have to get this for Rowdy. So could you please show the audience the fantastic Christmas present that I bought you, Rowdy? It's your favourite. It's Mercedes. It was on special. It was marked down.
I marked down to $6.
Like 70%
that's
off.
all she's worth.
But we will now put that on the set somewhere. We'll find a spot for it. Because you know what? Hey, let's not get
Nobody cares about the tribal chief no more.
Just move that. I also had the pleasure in this Christmas break to watch so far the majority of World's End from AEW. A show that Dave Meltzer gave 2 5-star matches to Will Ospreay on the one card.
On the one card.
2 5-star matches. Controversial take across the internet at the moment is that the Ospreay versus Fletcher match was the best opening match of a pay-per-view that Dave Meltzer can remember.
When Drew versus Punk at Hell in a Cell was literally mere months late earlier.
I know. As someone who's watched both matches, I will lean to the Punk Drew side as the better match. I mean, both of them 5 stars. I get it. I have a gripe with the Ospreay Fletcher match.
Yep.
And those of you that have watched World's End might know this, was that, surprise, surprise, Will Ospreay bladed in the match. Which, you know what, Will bleeding doesn't surprise me. But the fact that it was off a lawn dart into the barricade. But like not the metal barricade or anything like that. It was like the side screen barricade where it's just like the padded part and then there's the AEW thing along the sides.
Okay.
Just boom, into the flat bit. And then like Fletcher went off and went to the crowd and ripped up signs to distract everybody from the fact that Ospreay was in the corner digging in with a bloody razor blade. The problem was there was so much blood. Like the whole ring was covered in, and it kind of took me out of the match because it wasn't a spot that it was like, oh, he just hit a pile driver on the stairs, or he just went through a table, or he just hit like a hidden blade that I could be like, oh, I can see why that would bust his head open and cause
Lawn darts happen in like every match.
Correct. And it kind of like that kind of ruined a bit of it to me. I mean, the work rate of that match was brilliant.
Yeah.
I think it was still really good. It really was a 5-star match, but yeah, it took me out of it. So, but that was fun. And then Okada versus Ospreay for the final was great. Ricochet getting toilet paper thrown all over him because he sucks. Good work, Swerve Strickland.
Absolutely loved that. The image of just him standing in the middle of that ring, just draped in toilet paper.
Getting dunked on.
Priceless.
But the one to talk about that a lot of people have brought up was unfortunately our friend Mercedes.
Moni.
Putting on a really good match for Statlander. Longest match on the pay-per-view card.
Yep.
In the ring.
Apparently longest women's AEW match ever.
Really? Ever?
Yeah.
Wow. Because it was over 20-something minutes.
Yeah. That's why I thought it was really interesting.
I thought the Stat Willow match was pretty long.
I don't think it was that long. Because I've seen several posts on social media about that being one of the longest women's matches in AEW history.
Really good match. Like taking away the horrible character that Mercedes has been.
Yeah, no, promo on Dynamite this week was just trash. She just came out to the ring and said, I'm so great. Here's a promo I did of myself. Happy New Year to just me, no one else.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, oh, I'm amazing. Look at how many good matches I have.
Well, she had another good match.
Onto Wrestle Dynasty.
She had a good match in New Japan as well.
Yeah.
I can't remember who that was against. Was it the match against Miyu Shirokara? No.
No, that's it. Wrestle Dynasty.
That's the Wrestle Dynasty, okay. But yeah, like in the ring, Mercedes is great. It's just her character and the CEO thing sucks. I really hate that. And then I guess the other thing to touch on for World's End before we sort of move on to the rest of the stuff that's happened this week is all the schmozzle around Jon Moxley retaining in that Fatal 4-Way match that no one really wanted to see. And then AEW's founding son and favourite father of AEW and the glory of the locker room comes back to confront Jon Moxley, obviously one of the pillars of AEW, a clear standing person for the locker that has been there and supported AEW since day one, Cope. I mean, I'm making
Who decided on this name change?
I'm making light of the name change, but also the fact that like Adam Copeland is the person that they want to put up against Moxley as the heart of the AEW locker room, considering he's a WWE guy for 25 years.
Man, I just can't cope with that name change, man. It just really puts me on edge, you know? I've been saying that across social media.
You've been waiting.
All fucking
You've been
week.
waiting to record that for so long.
All week. Look, okay. I mean, like, maybe we'll just get over the name change. I was just getting used to calling him Adam Copeland,
Yeah.
so I might just stick with that. Or I'll just still call him Edge.
I don't think Cope works the
Cope.
same.
Who was it? Was it you that said? No, I think it was Josh last night. He was like, give it a few weeks and they'll have a shirt that says Copium on it.
Copium.
Copium.
I mean, they're
Bringing the meme to
AEW is a
life.
t-shirt factory. They'll have plenty of shirts for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, Cope is what I would call like a mate that maybe had the last name
Yeah.
Copeland. You mate Cope. But it's just, it doesn't quite work as a wrestler's name, I don't think.
The rated R superstar.
Cope.
Cope! As Justin
I don't want to hear Justin Roberts do that. He's going to turn the one syllable Cope into like a 13-second announcement name.
Absolutely.
He's going to ruin it.
Yep. Well,
Actually, the one last thing that I skipped across because
Okay.
everyone realized how boring, how much we hated this feud is now finished. MJF and Adam Cole.
we were just talking about this last week before. Maybe on the last podcast, but like MJF is just kind of boring at the moment.
Yeah. This whole him and Adam Cole feud was treading water, and I'm very glad that it's finished now.
Yeah.
The match was fine. Wasn't great. It's fine.
I didn't hear many people talking about that. All I heard people talking about was like Ospreay, Okada, Fletcher, Ricochet,
Yep.
Mercedes.
The
and
Powerhouse
stuff.
Hobbs and Takeshita match was actually really good too.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. Takeshita.
I haven't watched it yet.
Mate, from the matches that we watched last year, you and I watching him in some of his AEW matches, then we watched that Maple Leaf Pro match with him and Mike Bailey.
Man, that was amazing.
And then I went back and watched the TNA match with him and Josh Alexander. And then there was also the TNA match of Alexander and Ospreay. There's some good quality wrestling from
So much
last year,
wrestling.
man. So good.
I can't wait to see what this year brings us.
Well, speaking of this year, bringing us stuff, let's start talking about what happened this week in wrestling.
Let's kick it off with the most heated promo in wrestling history. CM Punk, Seth Rollins, face-to-face in the ring one final time before their fight at Netflix. And they did not pull punches at all. No punches were pulled.
This was really good. This was really good. And what I loved about it, so I saw some posts or something online saying it was completely unscripted. Bullshit.
Nah, there's
not
no way that
unscripted.
was fully unscripted.
I'm sure that they might have gone off script to a degree, but two professionals like Punk and Rollins would have had key points that they were going to hit
Yeah.
and things that they were going to say. The way that Punk came out and interrupted Rollins, because if you go back and you watch, I think I saw this on TikTok, someone had it every time Seth Rollins interrupted CM Punk. And there was like 6 or 7 times when Punk was doing a promo from the second he came back. The one after Survivor Series 2023, the first time Punk got on a thing and he said that, you know, I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to make money. And then Rollins interrupts him.
Yeah.
And then every other time with coming up to WrestleMania, Rollins interrupts him. Rollins interrupts him. After the stuff with Drew at Clash in the Castle where Punk comes back out the next week, Rollins interrupts him. And this time,
It was Punk.
Punk interrupted Rollins.
Punk got him back.
I mean, what do you want to say about this promo?
I really loved the personal jabs that were thrown, mentioning the fact that, Becky took time off because she's raising a child. Don't know if you'd know about that, Phil. All right. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We are back. Right. What I want to say about this.
Yeah, make sure you say it into the microphone.
Into the microphone. Very loud, but not too loud, Got to be soft and sensual.
I like that we're testing Editor Luke. Yeah. Like literally 1 week into the year.
You're going to have a blast with this. You're going to have a blast. I really liked the verbal jabs that were thrown for this.
Yes.
So one of the key ones that sticks out was they were both from Rollins, because Punk mentioned that Austin, did he take his ball and go home? Your wife, the man, did Becky take her ball and go home? And then Seth's retort to that, yeah, she took some time off to raise a child. Not that you'd know about that, Phil.
I feel like that's a bit of a shot at AJ Lee. That's a bit rude.
Yeah, a little bit.
Also,
like as a couple, they've just decided not to have kids, and that's fine on them. They're adults.
100%.
They can make that choice.
People
That's
make
fine.
that choice. I mean, I think I get this is a personal barb, and that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Possibly a line I wouldn't have crossed. I mean, it is obviously super exaggerated and highlighted in a wrestling program, so that's why you want to cross those lines.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's not something that I would pick a fight with someone about. If you've chosen not to have kids, I wouldn't start a fight with you about that.
Yeah, because there may be reasons behind why they've chosen to not have kids.
Yeah, correct.
So you're always going to be careful with that sort of stuff.
But I do love, how he was calling him a corporate man. He's going to shove his microphone down his corporate throat. Yeah. And the only reason that Punk left was because of the guy in charge. Like, Triple H is out there.
Yeah, and he loved
drop lines.
you.
Just drop lines on Vince.
Drop bombs.
Don't even worry about it.
Punk taking a huge chunk of change and going to the opposition. Loved it.
Like,
just like when they inject that realism in the promos, and everyone knows like that's real.
And
like,
I think
he did that.
The best part about it too is you're having those personal barbs and the jabs at each other that the general audience that are watching get it.
Yeah.
They can tell that they're having a feud with each other, they're fighting and stuff. But then the real marks like us really get it. You're like, God. He's bringing up AEW. He's bringing up Vince. Like, all these kind of things that you would generally say are taboo and you shouldn't be talking about in these kind of promos. Yeah. They're letting them do it and they're letting them skirt through it. And I think like this is going to set up an epic match at Raw on Netflix.
I can't wait.
I'm so pumped to see what it's going to be. I also don't think this is the end. I think a lot of people are like, oh, they're going to finish it at Raw. No, they're not. No way. This is a WrestleMania match for sure.
This has been building up for just since Punk's return at Survivor Series in November.
This has been building up for years.
But yes, previously, everything since Punk left and then came back, that whole 7-year period. But they've been throwing jabs at each other on social media and out in the public the entire time.
Or that line of where Seth said, I've been wanting to say this to your face, that you're a cancer.
Yeah.
Like he called him a cancer on interviews and on Twitter and stuff years ago. So like this has got a lot of investment into it. I think I tweeted out from our account. It's not. But I tweeted out from our account that Punk and Drew was the feud of 2024. Punk and Rollins is already looking like it's going to be the feud of 2025.
Yeah. Yeah. The way that they're going to have this build up from Netflix up until WrestleMania, it's going to be phenomenal. I really hope they kind of...
I mean, we're going to do a prediction show, which will be out at some point. Keep an eye on our YouTube for that. One of my predictions is very much around this Punk-Seth situation that's going to occur and how I think that will be booked coming into WrestleMania and beyond. I think there's very high investment from a WWE perspective on this.
Yeah, and from the fans as well. Like, I hope they kind of hark it back to when Edge and Matt Hardy faced off after their like real life beef, and they rehired Matt Hardy, and then that whole fight, it was literally just a fight in a WWE ring. They were throwing real punches. They were just beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah,
I'd love to see that be the start of the match, and then for them to go into an actual wrestling match after that.
I could see these two book that. I could see them say, look, for 15 minutes, let's fight, let's brawl, let's just do whatever. Yeah. And then once that's done, here's our finish. We go into this, into a stomp, into a GTS, into this, and that's the end. But the first 15 minutes, just go.
Just go ham, man.
Just go at it.
Just go ham. Can't wait.
That's going to be super fun. What else happened on Raw that was super exciting?
Not much. Judgment Day got Def Rebelled.
Did they what? Why did they need it? They did not need a new theme song.
The only thing that I can think of, and I've mentioned this throughout the week, is if some sort of rights to that song expired. The Alter Bridge song, The Other Side. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, maybe.
Unless it's just like a temporary reboot, and that's going to be the theme for like, I think the Live Judgment Day. I feel like Finn's on his way out. He's got to be on his way out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just absolutely think that this new terrible Judgment Day music, Finn gets removed from the equation, and then that can be the Livement Day theme moving forward.
The Livement Day. Okay.
I will not take credit for that.
You won't?
No.
Right,
I've taken that from Axel, official ego on TikTok. It's his whole thing.
I did see the picture of the Demon Finn behind when him and Raquel were talking.
Yeah, they've been slipping that in a lot. I don't know if it's just because it was like, hey, like this is my merch, like it's in the clubhouse, or whether it's teasing something different.
I think the Demon has a match at WrestleMania.
Who?
Penta.
I was gonna say I've seen someone theorize that already. That'd be sick.
Look, that'd be a great match.
I'd be keen for that.
Who knows if that's what they'll book though?
Yeah.
All right.
Women's Intercontinental Tournament.
I called this weeks ago and I said this whole tournament was here for Lyra Valkyria, and I stand by it.
I'm still rooting for Dakota.
I'm glad it's those two in the final, but it's Lyra's.
A lot of discourse online because the match has been moved from the Netflix debut to the following week, because it was originally meant to take place on the Netflix debut.
Yeah.
But they don't want it to get lost in the shuffle.
I think it would have.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It makes sense. Like when you've got Punk Rollins, you've got Roman Solo, we're going to have John Cena, we're going to have Cody on the show. Penta. Everyone's thinking Rock's going to be there.
He will be.
He will be. Like you've got so much there already. You got to include the women somehow, but I feel like having that crowning moment, it was great, but until the card started getting oversaturated with, no offense, arguably much bigger stars, you don't want them to just be an afterthought with the crowning of the first ever women's Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, and also like you also have to think that like just because it's going to Netflix doesn't mean the one episode is all that counts.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Netflix is going to want stuff to keep happening on their channels and
main
keep
event
drawing eyes to
the following week, I reckon.
Saturday night's main event is 2 weeks after the Raw debut. Then you've got the Raw Rumble.
Yeah,
like they'll keep stringing things out.
Yeah. Stop getting upset about that. There's a good reason.
Yeah, it's fine. Things that got strung out too long that probably would have been better 6 months ago was Otis and Chad Gable.
Yeah, it was kind of weird to get that payoff now. Like after American Made went off and feuded with the Wyatts and then came back.
Yeah.
Like.
Waste of time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Just book them better.
Oh, yeah, you should book the whole tag division better.
More on that coming soon.
We both skipped NXT this week.
Well, it was just the year-end award show, and then I think there was only 2 matches on the card. So
and the award show
obviously could not be stuffed.
Quietly, I did see said that the match of the year for NXT was the one I talked about, was the Josh Briggs, Dijak, and Obafemi triple threat. Thank you very much.
Yeah, boy.
Big meaty Ben slap man meat. That was cool.
Yeah, it's good that they got a shout out. Obafemi got men's wrestler of the year. Roxanne got women's wrestler of the year.
Not a surprise.
Yeah, not surprised at all. Shotzi almost killed herself in her match. Like,
you sent me the clip of this, and it looked like she really missed her Shotzi.
I hope she's okay, but goddamn. Jump to SmackDown. You haven't watched AEW this week, have you?
I've seen clips of AEW. I was very surprised because this was the first AEW they had on Max.
Yes, correct.
So this is kind of like them moving SmackDown to the USA Network, where they made a big deal of this big 3-hour show with lots of things that happened on it, which we'll talk about in a second.
Yes.
Whereas Dynamite
was just another Dynamite.
It was. Like there was no Ospreay match.
No, Ospreay match. I did like, we'll touch on the qualifying match to get into the Casino Gauntlet between Swerve, Roderick, and Jay White. Pumped that Jay White won. Yep. He's still steaming towards Moxley and having a one-on-one match, so that's good. The development of this Ricochet and Swerve Strickland feud post World's End, I'm interested to see where this goes. Because scissors and just blood, and like Ricochet taking his jacket off and just getting Swerve's blood all over his white shirt. Mint. Loved it. The way that he dressed, though, a lot of people are likening it to Jeffrey Dahmer, and I feel like that's a hold off, guys. That's a bit much. I mean, like the glasses, maybe I get it.
Yeah, but Ricochet's
other
worn
than
glasses before. I mean, I don't want them to lean too heavily into the use of blood and the need for it. Like you look at Hangman Swerve, their matches and stuff heavily relied on blood as part of the story to it. I just bitched about Ospreay blading really early in the match at World's End. I don't want AEW to rely on having to have people bleeding all the time because we used to give Moxley shit. Is that Moxley? The bell would ring and Moxley would start bleeding.
Yeah.
I don't want that to happen, but I also don't mind a bit of color when it's needed in a feud.
I feel like this was perfect for it.
Okay, and
especially after what happened to Ricochet at World's End.
I did see the tweets or the Instagram posts from Sam Irvin with the scissors. She was holding them.
Oh, I didn't see this.
Yeah, she put a post up of just the scissors.
Oh, so she gifted the scissors to
Well, she was backstage. She was backstage at World's End and the Dynamite tapings.
She's going to be there. She's over in Japan for
Wrestle Dream.
Yeah, for Ricochet's main event match against Zack Sabre Jr.
Is he facing Zack?
For the title.
Oh, please, ZSJ, tap him out. Tap that little boy out, please.
I reckon they'll put on a banger match, eh?
I think so. I think they probably should.
Yeah.
I'd be
very excited. Gonna have to watch that.
Well, because we said we're gonna watch Bobby Eagles. We're gonna watch our mate Robbie.
Big Bob.
SmackDown.
Yes.
Let's kick it off with the main part of SmackDown that got Reese's blood pumping. He was so excited. He just couldn't take it. Andrade's back on TV.
Oh my God. Oh no.
No, that's not
what we're talking about.
Oh, which other part are you talking about?
It's TIFFY time! Woohoo! I called this last week. We don't have it on a recording, which is very unfortunate because I did say to Dan.
He did. 100%.
They announced that Naomi and Nia Jax match, and I was like, that's where Tiffy cashes in. And then we got the run-in.
So this is my favourite part. For someone that was sitting next to Reece watching him watch this match, when Tiffy comes out, he's like, yes, it's happening! And he's so pumped, and then she swerves and throws the referee over, and he's like, no, don't not, no! Oh. And then Nia wins the match and she retains, and we're like, what a disappointment.
Yeah.
And then she's like, no, go beat her up in the corner. And then she bangs her. Oh, it's on again.
Yeah, it's on again. The fake out was fucking amazing.
It got you.
It did. It got me hook, line, and sinker. I'm not ashamed to admit that, but you know what? That made the experience all the better.
And I mean, the way that they put it over, it finally ends all of the will she, won't she cash-ins that Tiffy's been doing, which is fine.
Yeah. We were literally
told the story okay, but it's done now.
Yeah, we were literally just discussing during SmackDown the fact that they've been doing too many teasers and failed cash-ins.
Yeah.
Similar to what they did with Damian Priest, and we were all starting to get sick of it. So I'm glad this is it. It's done. She's cashed in. She's the brand new WWE Women's Champion.
And I think that give Nia credit, her and Naomi's match was better than we thought it was going to be.
Oh, absolutely.
It was a really good 3-segment match. It was a good 15 minutes or so.
Yeah.
So you knew Nia had gone through a lot, but then she took the briefcase shot, she took the KOD, and then the moonsault. So there's no like, it was a super lucky that she just snuck. No. She got a full 3 seconds.
It was emphatic.
Nia. It was exactly what we wanted to see from Tiffany. Now
it.
she's not missed Money in the Bank. She's now Tiffy World Champion.
Yep. It's Tiffy time. And now we just wait patiently for the pink belt.
And Charlotte to beat her for it.
At WrestleMania.
It's probably going to happen.
I'd say you heard it here first today, but we called it months ago on our WrestleMania 41 predictions. Go check out that video, link down below.
Was that my pick or your pick?
It was one of our. I can't remember. I think it was yours.
I'm certain we've gone Charlotte and Tiffy at WrestleMania.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait.
Probably not, unlike a lot of other people on the internet that think that's exactly where this is going.
Yeah, well, I think because when you look at Tiffy, she's kind of like what Charlotte was when Charlotte was starting out. Yeah. Similar look, similar build. Maybe not so much in that area, but
What? You're saying she needs to go Cora Jade?
Well, that's what Charlotte did.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was hinting at.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Jesus. But yeah, very similar.
What Andrade wants, Andrade gets. Okay.
Very similar. So I can see people doing the comparison of like you're like a young Charlotte sort of thing, and then that's how we get to Charlotte versus Tiffy.
Yeah, okay. I can see it. I also
what
could
happens.
just see Charlotte coming back, winning the Royal Rumble, and then picking Tiffany.
Yep. Easy.
I think
Done.
that might actually happen too. What else from SmackDown do we need to touch on? Obviously, Solo and all the Bloodline stuff.
Yep. They beat the three brothers, the Usos,
I love
as called by Lillian Garcia.
it's Jay, Sammy, and Jimmy, the Usos.
Yep. Did you know that was the first ever SmackDown match with 4 brothers in it?
Did you know that there was 3 women's matches on SmackDown?
Yeah, look, you got me with that one.
For 2 minutes, he was like, "Nah, it wasn't. It was only 2."
Oh, because
No, there
like
was 3.
obviously
Nah,
it was like the Nia Naomi one, and then I was like, oh, the Chelsea segment as well, like
Yeah,
Michin and Piper, and I was like, oh, there we go.
the cash-in.
Cash in counts. It was one segment, but it counted.
I will give credit to Solo. His promos have gotten a whole lot better. I mean, the tribal chief thing is plateauing. I think a lot of people say that it's kind of the whole Bloodline thing's plateauing a little bit. It does again. I'm sure we said this last year when we were doing our podcasts. Is that the entire Bloodline story doesn't grind to a halt, but it slows right down when there's no Roman.
Yeah,
And this last month, there's been no Roman. They've talked about him. Obviously, he's going to be on Netflix, but he hasn't been there in December.
No.
So for Heyman to come back out and sort of have that promo with Solo boosts it a smidge.
Yep.
And, you know, for Solo to say that I'm going to win and you're going to put the Ufalafa on me.
the Oompa Loompa.
The Ufalumpa on me. The
Ulafala.
Ulafala. I nearly said it wrong then because I've said it the Ufalafa so many times now because it's funny. You're going to put it around my neck and then you're going to be my wise man and I will own you. Like, ooh.
That's huge.
Add some stakes to it as well.
Yeah.
So you've called that Heyman's turning.
Yeah. I noticed a few key little details on SmackDown.
Okay.
During Paul Heyman's promo before Solo interrupted. He did Rock's whole 1, 2, 3 thing.
I don't understand.
I think it's just an American thing. I don't know a lot of people that do that because we just go like that.
Yeah.
Like we're normal. So it was that. And then there was...
I'd say shots fired, but we're talking about Americans, so let's not.
Yeah.
There's the joke. Sorry.
And then I noticed, like, I know Paul Heyman always used to do it anyway, but he did the I love you, Solo. He didn't say I love you, Solo, but he did the prayer hands.
I do
Call him my shot. He's turning on
I
on
do
Roman.
love the line where he's like, I am 10 seconds away from pissing myself.
That was so good. So good. And I love that Solo for that segment to confront Paul just came out alone.
Yes, agree.
You knew he was serious. He was here to do business. He cut one of his best promos.
Mm-hmm. Raw on Netflix is going to be huge.
I can't wait.
This tribal... All right, let's pre-book what we think is going to happen for this tribal...
I just told you. Paul Heyman's turning on Roman.
Paul Heyman is too. Because do you think Solo retains the Ufalafa? Or do you think Roman comes back and wins it?
Roman... what does Roman do without that, though?
Keep fighting for it.
Against who? The Rock?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I fucking hope so. Because like if he beats Solo,
Yep.
he gets it back, and then what? Rock comes back and says, "You don't deserve that. I'm the high chief. You're just a tribal chief. I outrank you."
Yeah.
And then that leads to their WrestleMania.
But what does the Bloodline do? If Roman beats Solo,
it's honestly really hard to choose.
the Bloodline then go and feud with DIY and Pretty Deadly?
Yay.
No. I mean, I've seen a lot of people talk about
I think Solo's got to win, man.
having a Jacob and Roman match at WrestleMania, which I think is fine, but I think that's probably
That's
too
fantasy
soon.
booking. That's fantasy booking. For sure.
I don't think that happens.
No.
I think as long as The Rock is available, it's Rock and Roman, right? I don't think we're going to do Rock and Cody as much as we have talked on the WWE Championship versus the People's Championship, but now that they're doing KO with the Winged Eagle against Cody with the other one, I don't think they'll combine them and then go and do it again against a different title. I think that's probably too much. I think the main play would be to have Roman and Rock. And I think what you're saying is that Solo wins because The Rock comes out in tribal combat, causes Solo to win. Heyman turns, you stack the decks right against Roman, and then Roman somehow gets his way back to WrestleMania to beat The Rock to become the tribal chief and the head of the table. That's the story that works. That keeps
That's
Roman
poetic.
Well, it keeps Roman and The Rock away from the titles.
Yeah.
Right?
Because, again, and with the rumors coming out that they're going to introduce a tribal championship, which we absolutely don't fucking need.
We don't need that. The problem with that, though, is you then go into a WrestleMania. We've got 2 nights, 2 main events.
Punk's going to get shafted again.
And you've got you assume you have Punk and the World Heavyweight title on one side. You've got Cody and the Universal title on another side. And you've got Roman and The Rock.
Here's my thing, right? Because I don't...
3-night WrestleMania.
I don't...
That's what they did. 1, 2, 3. 3 nights of WrestleMania.
You heard it here first on Down Under the Mat. I don't think Cody main events. Okay. If that's the case, like, I feel like now is, like, we discussed it on our 2024 in review. We discussed it on our WrestleMania 41 predictions a few months ago. Now is the time to pull the trigger and finally give CM Punk his WrestleMania main event.
Yes.
Because is he going to be fit next year? Like, is he going to last until next year? Like, we don't know. If you truly want to give him that accolade that he rightfully deserves that. Mm-hmm. With the career that he's had, he rightfully deserves that. If you're going to give that to him, give it to him on
now.
night 1.
Yep.
And it's now. Night 2 is where Cody would be defending his championship. Yep. But if Rock and Roman happens, I think that's your marquee match. That's the final match of WrestleMania. That's your night 2 main event.
And I also think if what we booked for the WrestleMania 41 way too early was Cody, KO, Randy triple threat.
Yeah.
That could open WrestleMania.
Oh, absolutely.
That is a brilliant opening match.
Yeah.
So I think that's possibly where it goes. I think Solo has to win.
Yeah, I'm going to back Solo on this.
Otherwise, yeah, I just don't see where the Roman and Bloodline story continues to go if Roman wins.
And that's the problem when you think about the story from here. If Roman wins, where does it go? Like, does Solo just snap? That's not the point of this. Like, it's tribal combat. That means you're going to have to acknowledge Roman as the tribal chief, which means you are now subordinate.
Correct. And the other thing too is we know this isn't the finish for the Netflix episode.
Yeah.
We know that Punk and Rollins is ending the show. So
I think having that kick off, start off Netflix with a bang. Oh. Roman Solo
and Roman
and The
having
Rock.
to like Roman and the Usos all acknowledging Solo.
Because that's been your biggest story for the last 4.5 years.
Yep. Look, I agree. I agree. I think it's going to be crazy. I think you're going to get all of the tribal combat spots and things that we've got that we've had previously. We're going to get table spots. We're going to get the Usos. We're going to get the Tongans the Tonga. We're not going to obviously get Tonga because he's still injured.
Yeah.
Maybe we get a Hikuleo. Maybe we get someone new. I
remember talking like 6 months ago about Hikuleo signing, and
he's in the development system. Where is he? He's not there.
He's
so
hiding.
Maybe he pops up. But I'm with you in that. I think now that they've made Heyman a key feature of it, something involves him, and I was always backing The Rock to show up on the Netflix debut.
Yeah,
he will influence the finish for that match for sure.
Yeah. We'll touch on the Cody KO storyline before we wrap things up.
Yeah.
And the developments that happened on SmackDown today. We had an appearance to interrupt Cody Rhodes by Drew McIntyre.
The hug was awesome.
The hug. Interesting. You just see it on Cody's face. He's just like, what's that about? What's this about?
Yeah, but he's like, watch your back.
Watch your back.
And then there's KO.
And then, yeah.
I think you eloquently put that this leads to what we believe is the trio of people against the Bloodline and everybody involved with them, which is KO, Drew, and Seth. And I think that is instigated by Punk beating Seth on Netflix. And then Drew getting in Seth's ear and saying, well, if you had listened to us, you had some backup.
Yeah. Come help us.
And then I think those three will do it.
Yeah.
And just go a heel and just roll through everybody, which would be sick.
Yeah, I can't wait. I hope it happens. I hope it's not just some fan theory that doesn't come to light.
my main, that's not a problem, but my very quick prediction when they had the Cody versus KO match announced for the Royal Rumble, that it's a ladder match. And they have very specifically said that your title will be up and my title will be up. They're both going to be hanging from the ring, so that they're both winning this match. Do you swap the titles? Does Cody take the Winged Eagle and KO take the proper WWE title?
Yeah, I hope that.
And
I feel like KO deserves another main championship run, and I feel like now is the time to pull the trigger.
You know, if we're talking that we want Cody, KO, and Randy to be the main event at WrestleMania, Cody's always been better as a chasing person than holding.
Oh, he could get it back at Mania. I wouldn't fucking care.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? Is that you'd have Cody then say that I want my actual title back, and Cody's like, well, it's mine now. Yeah. You've got mine.
That
I've got
leads
yours.
to WrestleMania.
It's too bad.
You can easily work Randy into that equation as well.
100%. Okay, all right. So Royal Rumble, we're having a title switch between KO.
I reckon title switch. I really like that theory. Hopefully it's not just like the big babyface moment. Cody gets both titles, one and done, dusted. Because this is the most interesting that Cody's been.
Yeah, for sure.
And like you said, like Cody's a better chaser. KO's been doing some of the work of his entire career. Like some of the best
we get
work.
Cody Lander.
Yeah, and like that's the thing with the promos we've been getting from Cody lately. They're getting me excited for a heel Cody.
Yeah.
They've been on the mark. Absolutely amazing.
All right, so let's finish our predictions for Raw on Netflix, which is coming up in a couple of days. Rhea Ripley against Liv Morgan. Liv wins? I don't think so. I think Rhea gets the title.
Yeah, I think Rhea gets the title back. I just don't want Liv to get lost in the fold as soon as she loses that title.
She'll go straight back to Livement Day.
That is exactly doing what I don't want to happen. Unless you're just going to shaft her to the mid-card scene.
I think that you shaft her to the tag title scene. I think
Raquel.
her and Raquel then go against Bianca and Jade and Bianca and Naomi, Damage Control, Party Girls, etc., etc.
Yeah,
they go in and they can make that. They can add some prestige to that tag division that's dropped off real hard.
Yep, correct. Because of Naomi.
She put on a good match with Nia.
Yeah, I know. I got to give him more credit.
You need to start feeling the glow, man.
No, I just don't. I don't vibe with that
You
gimmick.
don't feel the glow. Fair enough.
I don't feel the glow. Punk and Seth.
No, what else? We've also got Drew.
Drew. Yeah, Drew and Jay. Drew's got to win that. They're portraying him too strong of a character at the moment.
Is that how you can write Jay out of Tribal Combat? If that's before.
Well, it's Tribal Combat. From what I remember, Tribal Combat means no one can interfere. It's not Bloodline rules. It's Tribal Combat. It's different.
Is it?
Because both Roman and Solo have said and agreed. You leave your tribe, I'll leave my tribe. And it's
I thought it was just going to be
because they've specifically said the tribes will not be involved. So I feel like it has to be just one-on-one. Nobody can get involved.
Yeah, but you're telling me that now. I then can't believe Solo beating Roman.
Yeah, but Rock's not part of the tribe.
Yeah, okay, all right. All right, okay, all right. You got me back.
There we go. Got him.
Yeah, okay. Drew wins.
I think Drew's got to win. With all the rumors swirling around of him being the focus of WWE this year, like he's going to be one of their pillars. I feel like he needs to get this win.
Yeah, I agree.
On the debut of Raw on Netflix.
Now, the one I want to talk about, and I want to pitch. We were going to talk about our 2025 predictions in another video. Stay tuned to our YouTube for that one. On the debut of Raw, we are going to have the return of John Cena. It's his final year. It's his retirement year. How do we book John Cena? Now, I have a pitch.
A pitch.
And I'm going to put this because I've heard the rumors. I've heard Cena versus Cody. I've heard Cena versus Gunther at WrestleMania. I've heard him winning the Royal Rumble. I've heard all these things. I will pretty much guarantee that he will get his 17th World Championship and he'll break Ric Flair's record this year. I say record because Ric Flair's got like 24 world titles, but it's acknowledged by everybody that it's 16.
Correct.
I think Cena wins. The way I pitch the story, the way that I think that this gets done is that he goes in the Rumble and then he gets eliminated by somebody. Let's say Logan Paul. That sets up the Cena versus Logan Paul match at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Okay? He's away from the title. He maybe goes in the Elimination Chamber and he gets eliminated by Drew McIntyre or somebody. He stays away. So every time Cena's going to be on a pay-per-view, it's going to be like, is he going to get a chance at his 17th shot?
No.
And he keeps getting no, and no, and no. And then he is going to win Money in the Bank. All right? Here's my pick. John Cena wins Money in the Bank this year. And then for the rest of the year, he is going to call out his shot to try and cash in, and he's going to get stopped. And then instead of being the sneaky cash in, he'll be like, all right, fine. Sami Zayn, you've stopped me from trying to cashing in on whatever. You and me at Backlash will have a match. And if you beat me, you get my Money in the Bank briefcase. And Cena wins and he keeps his briefcase. Okay. And then he teases again and he doesn't get it again. And then the next pay-per-view, it's like, all right, Ludwig Kaiser, you stopped me from doing it. You and me for the briefcase. And he beats him. And then it's Bron Breakker and he beats him too. And we get all the way to December and he hasn't cashed in yet. And Cena is like, I've said to everybody, 2025 is me done. I am finished. And it comes to like the start of December. We've gone through Survivor Series. He's been in a War Games match. He couldn't cash in because of whatever reason, something happened. And so at the start of December, he says, whoever the champion at the time is, let's say it's Cody Rhodes, you and me, Saturday night's main event, or like whatever, the week before Christmas, the 18th of December in Madison Square Garden. That's my last match ever. Cashing in my Money in the Bank briefcase, going for the world title. And in John Cena's last ever WWE match, he wins.
Rise off into the sunset.
Yeah. And then the title disappears and there's only one back title again for WWE.
Yep. Done.
No, I'm not. That won't happen. He'll relinquish it the next night on Raw or whatever. But
yeah,
that's how I would not in the way that you teased Tiffy and the way you've teased Damien. That will they or won't they kind of thing. It's always been something stopping them, not idiocracy. And I think you tease.
Because John Cena's not an idiot.
Because everybody wants Cena to win this 17th.
Yeah,
we all do.
Just tease us the entire year.
Blue ball us for months. And then give us that moment that right at the end of the year that every single person will have their eyes tuned onto whatever you want them to watch, knowing that it's Cena's last match and it's for a world title.
Yeah. I reckon that might be a better story than the story being finished.
Mate, Triple H, if you want, we've said this several times.
It's on the payroll.
Down under the mat at gmail.com. Flick us an email. I'll happily chat to you, mate. I'll give you the rights for the story if you want it.
Love it.
For a small fee of WrestleMania front row seats. And flights and accommodation from Australia. Should I throw in anything else? Is that enough?
No, I think that's enough.
You reckon you can take it up? Yeah. That's all it is.
Surely. That's all.
Hit me up, Hunter.
Gotcha. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. We'll wrap it up there.
You're not going to put your Cena idea?
No, I don't have one yet.
Mine's better than yours?
Yeah. I can't top that. Can't top that. All right.
Cool. I keep knocking over the KO card. Maybe that's a bad sign.
Oh, no. Well, the Seth one's permanently knocked over, so that foreshadows his loss on Raw next week.
I'm just trying to see if we don't have a CM Punk card or anything exciting.
We don't in the AEW pack?
I don't know. I don't think we did.
No, we got Sting.
Where was my fancy cards? Oh, we're going to do that on a different video, are we?
Yeah, different video.
Okay.
We got something special coming for you guys.
Yeah.
You got to redeem that one first.
Okay. All right, I'll do that.
All right, thank you for tuning in. We have been Down Under the Mat. This is Mr. Dan Danielson. I'm Roddy Reece. As always, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe.
Wait.
What?
Before we finish.
We
were very politely told we weren't allowed to too sweet while we're in TMDK gear.
Okay.
So we've got to change the finish. Just so that you're aware, we're going to change the finish.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. As always, like, subscribe, comment down below. Let us know what theories you've been cooking up for wrestling in 2025. With that, let's sign it off. We've been Down Under the Mat. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time.
Oh, that's awkward.